Hey, how's it going? My name is Maya Pimentel, and today I'm going to review the first book of the Nemesis series by April Daniels, Dreadnought, hence the cape. I see a world that is terrified of me, terrified of someone who would reject masculinity, terrified of a girl who knows what she is capable of. They will not hurt me anymore. They are small and they are weak. My name is Maya, and I am a girl. And no one is strong enough to take that away from me anymore. I'm gonna put that quote on my wall. It's the one that stuck with me the most. And probably the reason why this book has impacted me so much. My name is Maya Pimentel, and I talk about queer culture, general culture, and more. And being trans. Today, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the book, why it matters to me, why it matters to the world, and I want to break down my favorite quote, the one you just heard me say. The book follows Danielle Tozer, who takes on the mantle of essentially Superman in her world and has to face all that comes with becoming a superhero and all that comes with facing down a nemesis. The book was great. I read it in 2 days. It melded what it means to be trans with what it means to be a superhero in a way that I could relate to so fully. I want to get into why I love this book, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to share some spoilers, so this is your warning. It had the dream. In the beginning, Danielle is a closeted trans woman. Additionally, she has to face what it means to be a trans superhero and sees the Dreadnought, the Superman of her world, fall. And the mantle is given to her. The magic that makes superheroes in this story chooses her and changes her body, makes her her ideal version of herself, which means she's a woman, and she's the first trans woman, the first woman of any sort to take on the mantle. A mantle's like Superman's or Spider-Man's. It can be worn by anyone, but it's a big deal if it's a trans woman. It means I could relate to this story the way I've never related to any story. Danielle was a superhero, but also had flaws in her personality and struggles and had a hard time. She had to face a nemesis while being attacked by the press, not being accepted into the superhero equivalent, like the Justice League of this world, or the Avengers of this world. She had to struggle with being called rude things, and plus she's a trans lesbian, which a lot of people can't deal with. One of the main antagonists was also a TERF, a trans exclusionary, a feminist, a powerful witch. So the book was able to talk about really important things that trans people deal with without making it just a really hard coming out story. The business of being trans was already there. It was just how the world faced it. The story covers the conflict of becoming a superhero, joining superhero teams, what the public thinks of you, what it means to be violent and powerful, yet adored. It really explores all of it, along with being trans. It's also a story of friendship, a story of love. It talks about beauty standards and our relationship with violence and what it means to have a friend, what it means to be anonymous, what it means for your parents to not accept that you're trans. I had a hard time reading the parts with her parents. I'm very lucky that my parents accept me. I know that's not the case for everyone. And it's all woven together beautifully, and I'd recommend it to anyone, but especially if you're trans. She shows you what it's like to be a trans woman with no fear, and that was really special for me. That was magical for me. This story felt like a battle cry. Dreadnought, Danielle, is my hero. A fearless, powerful trans woman that can't be stopped by anyone. She's too powerful. She's Dreadnought. It was about a trans woman without making the whole story about her struggle with herself of being trans. She was already out to herself. She just needed to come out to the rest of the world. It didn't make her weaker or less than. She was still the most powerful superhero. That was really magical and important for me, to find a character I could relate to with so deeply and so strongly. And that quote I read in the beginning has really stuck with me, because Danielle showed me that every trans woman is Dreadnought. We all have superpowers. My superpower is to take my thoughts and turn them into videos and share them with you. We all have something we can offer, and that's unique to us, and you can't take away my ability to write or to make movies. And I'm inspired by Dreadnought. I've never wanted a poster of a celebrity before. I put art up, but of someone with a name, Danielle Tozer is the only one I really want. This book is important because it shows a reality for trans people that is so different from the current one. This book shows a reality where the most powerful human in the world is a trans woman, and she's what's keeping everyone safe. And even though she flies up to space and sees that world that fears her, she's still going to protect it. The main takeaway from this story, for me, is that being trans is powerful and strong, something that's mine. And I'd like to dissect that quote that I shared, because that kind of put the whole feeling I have around the book into a simple paragraph. It's a scene where Danielle is flying for the first time comfortably, and she goes up to space and can see the whole world the way astronauts see it from outer space. And she says, "I see a world that is terrified of me." And that's what I see when I hear the news and hear what happens to all the trans women who have been killed. The world really is terrified of me. I'm brown and I'm trans. I'm not right-wing. I guess some people are terrified of that. And I largely avoid the news because it breaks my heart to see rights taken away, to see lives taken away. And it's weird, sad, horrible to realize that the world is afraid of you. I really don't like it. It's horrible. And I wish I could change it. I wish I could bring everyone to some magic safe house. But I can't. And then the next line. Terrified of someone who rejects masculinity. That's a big deal, and it's something I felt lately. I tend to pass more as of late, and I get treated like a woman regardless. And when I look more into work and I see that most of the people in charge in my work and many others are men, I can see why someone would be terrified of someone who rejects masculinity. But I do fully, completely reject masculinity. I understand that humans are complicated and we have a bit of both, but there's a version of me that could have never come out, could have used that male privilege to move up in the world. All the advantages of being a man were offered to me on a silver platter, and I was miserable. And I can imagine for some people it's impossible to consider that, because it comes with so much power in our patriarchal society. And I rejected it. And I think people are afraid of that, because to be trans, at least in this year, 2023, is to be radical, is to be different, is to be part of change. And change is scary. And if I reject masculinity for myself and more people do it, what if the patriarchy falls? For some people, that's a frightening notion. In many ways, the capitalist system we live in wants everyone to have these masculine traits, these drive and strive for power. I don't think that's masculinity. I think of masculinity as a tree that is strong, that provides shade and fruit, and femininity as the soft soil that surrounds it and gives it nutrients. And as the dead leaves fall and the fruit falls, it turns into earth and becomes a tree again, and it's a cyclical nature of taking care of each other. I think that's what femininity and masculinity really are, and there's all the shades in between. But that's not what the world sees. The world sees masculine as this strong, powerful thing, to be coveted, to be desired, to be worshipped. And to reject that is to say no to everything. The patriarchy, our form of putting men over women, seeps into every industry and most facets of our lives. Women are questioned more when they're professors. I can't walk home in the dark anymore. There's so much of male privilege that I no longer have, and I've rejected it lucidly, on purpose, knowing it, and I think that scares a lot of people. But like Danielle says, they're not going to hurt me anymore. I'm safe in California, and beyond that, I'm safe in my mind. I know who I am, and no matter what anyone says to me, I'm going to be myself and trans. My name is Maya Pimentel, I'm a girl, and that's a big deal to say that aloud. To live in a place where I can say it aloud. To have this intimate space, you and me, camera and lens, data, internet, press play. We're just here, you and me. And no matter how many laws are passed, no one can take away the fact that I'm trans. No one can take away the fact that I'm an artist. No one can take away the fact that I am capable. And I know that I'm capable, and I'm strong. I'm a powerful woman. and that is my own. That's why I love this book, because it reminded me of that. As soon as I finished this book, in a couple days, I picked up the next one, which I'll review in another video. I really enjoyed the book. I can't really say anything bad about it other than I wish the third book was out already, and overall, really great book. I'd recommend this to anybody. I wouldn't really compare it to any other series. I haven't read a whole lot of superhero stories. The ones I have are comic books. I would love to see this as a comic book. I would love to see it as a movie or an animation. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you very soon. Bye.